We have been warning about the compliance, the willful, preemptive compliance of media organizations, and you can add apparently another one to the list, joining things like the LA Times and the Washington Post, which are backing off of, I was gonna say criticism of Trump, but I guess backing off of journalism, I suppose, backing off of their job. CNN hosts have apparently now been warned to be very, very careful about the way that you speak about our new God emperor. Don't you be too critical of Donald Trump. That is literally, not literally, but that's basically what they've been advised to do. And of course, during the first Trump term, CNN was very critical of them, which I guess was good, sometimes annoying and cringy and grifty or whatever, but often good. He did a lot of terrible things and you need to be critical of him. And they certainly had some, making up to do, considering that they had given him, I don't know, 1,000 hours of live podium coverage leading up to that first term. So it was good that they were critical during the first term, but now don't expect that to happen. And so CNN journalists apparently during the inauguration coverage avoided mentioning the most sordid elements of Donald Trump's past, including his felony conviction from just last year, his 2 impeachments during that inauguration day broadcast, after the network's top boss told them to show some deference to the most powerful person on earth. And I'm glad that there's reporting about what they did on inauguration day, because obviously there weren't a lot of people watching their inauguration coverage to see it, but that's what they did for the few that actually tuned in. So anyway, apparently last Sunday, there was a routine editorial meeting, and it was meant to plan the extensive logistics of the inauguration. And CNN CEO Mark Thompson, not the Mark Thompson that comes on our network, told journalists to avoid, quote, prejudging Trump. Don't prejudge him. Don't be judgy. Don't consider all of the things he has done and said and promised to do. Ignore all of the evidence of your eyes and ears. That's the last final command. And so they didn't prejudge. And what did he do with his first few days? Maybe he was better than we thought he would be. Well, he tried to unilaterally take away citizenship from millions of people, ending birthright citizenship, which of course he cannot do. He pardoned attempted cop killers with the January 6 pardons. He took us out of the WHO. He took us out of the Paris Climate Agreement. He started mass deportations. He did a million insane things. I'm not gonna be able to remember all of them. We covered them throughout the week. There's so many that it would take like a 24/7 news network to cover all of his insane crimes, if only we had that. But Mark Thompson told them that he doesn't want CNN's coverage to, quote, relitigate the past, which is an interesting way to say, ignore all the things he's done. What do you mean? If you are not adding context from what has come before, what is the point of your coverage at that point? And so anyway, you had on that day, Jake Tapper, Anderson Cooper, they've done countless hours of critical coverage of Donald Trump, but not apparently a thing that they're allowed to do now. And bearing in mind, that was under Jeff Zucker. And so there was already a shift under CNN at various times to move to be more pleasant towards Trump. And that apparently is gonna go into overdrive now. Oliver Darcy, media reporter, says Thompson does not want them endlessly poking the eye of the sitting president and believes that Trump should be shown some deference. And he has made it clear that he wants the MAGA movement to have a seat at the table when discussing political topics, even if certain pundits do use the platform to make incendiary and sometimes false claims. So show deference to the president, which is not at all what the media is supposed to do. That's the exact opposite thing of what they're supposed to do. And we will never show deference to Donald Trump. I swore in the first term, I'm never gonna be fair to him. I'm sticking to that, but I'm adding no deference either. Jesus Christ. Also, we're gonna bring MAGA people on, even though we know in advance they're gonna lie. We're gonna give them a platform to lie, so that Donald Trump, I guess, won't nuke us from orbit, and maybe some MAGA people will watch our coverage, which will never, ever, ever happen. So, Francesca, that's all fun. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, right? I don't know if it'll never happen. I think if CNN starts telling MAGA what they want to hear, that they might actually perk their ears up. Yeah, we should be distrustful of science. Yeah, there should be investigations into Fauci and into the entire Biden administration. If they start doing the thing, then people will be like, yeah, CNN's cool again. I mean, it's really crazy, John, how much this new administration is laying bare the oligarchy that stands behind every single media organization that you might occasionally tune into and like, right? That ultimately CNN is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery, and also massive venture capital money like BlackRock holds shares, like I think it's 63% of shares of CNN of Warner Brothers, excuse me. So these are all venture capitalists. They want their tax breaks, they want the deregulation, and ultimately, when their back is against the wall, meaning it's either Trump or, I don't know, a Federal Trade Commission head like Lina Khan, they're gonna go with the guy who's gonna deliver them the most money, and that's Donald Trump. And so as consumers, like, what are we gonna do about it, right? I mean, how are we going to be pulling our money away from these folks? And I hate to say it, because I do believe in having robust news media, but they're not. So how do we take our money out of that and put it to other good things? And again, I don't like the idea of GoFunding me an entire media, but it's why people need to be supporting this outlet. It's why people need to support Zateo, my show, like. And I do think there are people, specifically maybe more in print journalism, that are doing real work. It's not to say CNN isn't doing anything, but it really is scary.
Yeah, there will be some work, and so they'll do some like print journalism or whatever. Will their hosts be able to discuss it if it reflects poorly on Donald Trump? Bearing in mind, like, I'm not saying that like CNN has a massive audience or whatever, but that's one of the ways that people track what's happening. Is seeing in this sort of thing. Some people will go and read articles and stuff like that. It ain't a ton, like in comparison to those who might watch a little bit of news coverage of the top headlines. And I guess the headlines are supposed to be deferential now. And I point this out, I guess I'm somewhat surprised, I suppose. I didn't think that CNN would move this fast to bend the knee to be, your Zateo style reek of the week, I guess. But that's what they're doing. And look, maybe they're terrified. Donald Trump has threatened to pull broadcast licenses before. He just posted on Truth Social, MSDNC is even worse than CNN. They shouldn't even have a right to broadcast.
Yes.
Because remember, Hungary is the model. What did they do? So maybe he would literally make it illegal for CNN to broadcast. I don't know, but we're not there. And you still have a job to do. You have to be willing to risk the government shutting down your operations, okay? You have to be that minimally brave, that minimally bold. But this serves as a reminder to everyone, and we've been saying this for some time. Donald Trump is not only more dangerous than he was, the movement around him more dangerous, more poised to do terrible things, but we have far fewer checks. I don't even mean literal checks like in government. Even media checks, there's fewer than there were before. We have far less hope that there's gonna be some sort of investigation that uncovers something that hampers him. We don't really have that. Social media has been utterly taken over by right-wing oligarchs. We have so many fewer of the minimal tools we had the first time around that you all need to be ready, because what little we do have that will stand up to him. Maybe it's like a reverend at an Episcopalian church or something like that. Maybe it's one or two Congress people. Maybe it's someone in media willing to lose their show to do what is right, to fulfill their obligation. That is likely to be all that we have right now, because everyone, you could just look around. They're taking a knee, they're bending down, they're kowtowing. You see it literally everywhere.
Yep. It's truly terrifying. And to end this, Gil Scott Heron said the revolution will not be televised, and I firmly still believe that. A lot of the work that needs to happen is offline. It is in person. It is building our communities. It is making them strong to withstand some of these attacks. It is knowing our neighbors. It is mutual aid. It is all of those things, and we can do it, guys. We've done it before, and we can do it again.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.